Cast is presented by Hummel North America, proud partner of the Greenville Triumph.
Kickoff impending here between the Greenville Triumph and Union Omaha. It's their third meeting this season. And the first two, Ross, neither of them could decide a winner. We've had 4 goals total for both sides, a 1-1 draw and a 3-3 draw. Despite that, we have had some flashiness and excitement in the series.
There's some great goals. There was one there by Pedro Dalabelli. Actually, the last 4 meetings between these two teams have ended in draws. I've mentioned that first one, 3-3 in late May against in Papillion. Jacob Labus also with a great strike in that one. And then the other one, 1-1. Devon Boyce penalty. Well, sorry, Noe Meza opened the scoring in that one. Ryan McKinnon, his second goal of the season. Gone to add, obviously, added to that, had that 4-goal game a few games after this one.
Noe Meza scoring in both affairs, will not be in the 18 this evening as we look at the starting lineups. First, the home side, brought to you by Spartanburg Regional Healthcare System. Pretty standard stuff for John Harkes' side, but Jamie Smith stepping in once again.
Yeah, 3 changes. Brandon Fricke, the big news. He sits for the first time in 17 games. Jamie Smith gets the start at centre back. He really impressed on Wednesday night, especially with his physical play. And Jared Mazzola, as you see there on the left, returns after missing Wednesday's game with his troublesome calf.
And then on the Union Omaha side of things, 4 changes for them, which is their most from one match to another this season.
Yeah, no Noe Meza, as you mentioned, Mark. He misses his 4th straight. Dominic Casiato said he was 50-50 for this one, did not travel. But also in goal, no Rashid Nuhu tonight as McGrain gets his 3rd start of the season. And congrats to JP Skiffs there. His 100th appearance for Omaha in all competitions.
A Centurion, the first one to reach the mark in Union Omaha colors, as the away team looks to find a result here on the road. Their second trip to Paladin Stadium this season. A 1-1 draw last time these two teams met here at this venue. Meanwhile, the Triumph, having just played here a couple days ago on Wednesday against the Red Wolves. Both teams coming off a 2-1 victory over Chattanooga. Union Omaha on the past weekend in Greenville on Wednesday.
Some tired legs out there for Greenville. That was a physical match on Wednesday night. We'll see if that affects things down the stretch in this one. Always a fun contest between these two teams, Mark.
It'll be Omaha going right to left, Greenville left to right. Alexander Zheleskov, our head official. Let's see if either of these teams can claim the season series tonight. It's Greenville and Omaha. Once again, welcome you in on the broadcast. Mark Schoenster and Ross Davenport giving you the action. And Zheleskov's whistle blows early.
That might be the quickest yellow card in League One history. Well, yep, there it is. Maybe our producer, Ryan Rose, he's the master of stats. Maybe he can pull up the fastest yellow card in League One history. But that one certainly has to be up there. Connor Doyle goes into the books.
The referee has issued a caution.
Alan Gavalanes.
To Union Omaha.
4th yellow card of the season for Connor Doyle. Right out the gate going into the books. Not the way Connor Doyle would have wanted his evening to start.
We used to see Alan Gavalanes doing that kind of thing up the wing, not up the middle. That was interesting to see.
Walker pokes it into play, and now Nate Schultz back in the starting lineup. He's been a fixture in the starting 11 for almost the entirety of the season, but got to come off the bench on Wednesday. Just needed some much warranted rest.
Well, I asked John Harkes this week if this was the deepest squad he's had in his 5 years in Greenville, and he said he thinks it is. It's obviously a smaller squad due to the CBA's limited salaries that some of these teams have been able to offer. He said this is the deepest squad he's got. He's basically too deep at every position, Mark, but he's had to use it this year with the early injuries. They're getting healthier now, though.
Here's Castro with an opportunity early to the top to Coutinho, and it's saved by McGrain. Getting acclimated early in this one.
It's a good chance for Lucas Coutinho, playing some of his best soccer of the season right now.
Scored a wondrous goal on Wednesday. Received praise from John Harkes for his performance on Saturday against Northern Colorado. And Ian McCrane, in his 3rd start this season, stops the first effort going his way.
And we mentioned Greenville's health. The only player they're really missing right now, it's obviously a key one in Tyler Pollock. Their left back. They managed to adjust well without him.
Another look at that effort.
Yeah, he just kind of slipped as he went to kick it, Lucas Coutinho. Otherwise, you'd had to think he would have made McGrain work a little harder on that one. It was a comfortable save in the end.
So Dion Akoff will throw this one into play.
Now we talked about with Dom Casiado this week. More of a right winger by trade and previously in his career, but went to that right back spot late last season and has stayed there. In and out the lineup, but in it a lot lately with this winning streak. So they can get up and down that wing as quick as anybody in this league.
Dos Santos rockets it. They're trying to catch Mazzola off guard there. Not a spot where you expect a shot to come flying your way. Of course, the veteran striker more than capable of a couple of tight angle shots.
They look like they hit the woodwork.
Awfully close.
So Chattanooga almost catch Gunther Renkenberg unawares a little early in that game on Wednesday night. They hit one shot that hit the post by Mensah. One similar there from the other side. Waking Jared Mazzola up early here.
Both sides testing the frame early. John Harkes described that game on Wednesday as the battle we expected. The Red Wolves fight for every ball, and here's a moment. Coutinho to the top, and Liam McKinnon couldn't get a finishing touch on it. Greenville will continue.
That was well defended in the end. McKinnon just bodied off it at the last second before he could unleash a shot.
He wouldn't have had to do a ton. Omaha made sure that he couldn't do anything with it.
Omaha are dangerous here. They can turn any transition ball in the midfield into a scoring opportunity very quickly. We saw them do it twice against Chattanooga last week, and here they go again.
Brito cuts inside, gets tripped up.
Well, it's gonna be a yellow card for simulation, I think. Yeah, good look at it, good referee Zlaskov. 2 yellow cards in the first 5 minutes for the visitors.
That's Joe Brito's 5th of the season. Not going to play any games here, Alexander Zlaskov.
The referee has issued a caution to Union Omaha's number 8.
There's that
Joe
chance
Brito
from a moment ago.
in the
Yeah,
6th
McGrain was in
minute.
complete no man's land. He's very thankful that his defenders were there to help him out. Otherwise, McGrain would have looked very bad there. As you can see, Brito cut across the path of McKinnon, who didn't even make a gesture to the referee because he knew that Brito had gone to ground on his own. You don't see too many of those in League One, Mark. The simulation yellows. I can't remember the last time I've seen one, especially 5 minutes early into this game. Referee Zlaskov certainly making his presence felt early here.
A league that gets a lot of penalty calls. Now, granted, penalties more and more prevalent across soccer as a whole. Surely players sometimes will try to test the boundaries of what they can get away with. Zlaskov setting the bar early in this one.
I think with no VAR in League One, I think referees have to be sure if it's a penalty or not. Right? When you do have the VAR, you can also always go back to consult it if you need to. You've got to make sure there's a collision in that box that you definitely saw contact. Listen, we've seen mistakes made by officials this season, but that was a good one there, I think, made by referee Zlaskov. It's a big physical presence, Dos Santos.
Got a couple of big bodies on this team, Union Omaha. Steven Dos Santos at 6'4", Pedro Dolabella near that same height. JP Skiers, Connor Doyle. I mean, this is a tall and stature team for Dominic Casiado. 5 straight wins for his side. He said that they knew the run was coming, and now it's about staying true to what you believe in. It's about consistent messaging, consistent work. Don't get too carried away with the recent success. He said, we've been through a lot as a team this season. So we're pretty happy with the place we're at and to be reaping the rewards of that early season effort. But also trying to keep their focus clear and not relish too much in where they're at. It is August, it is not October.
Hot again, been a few hot games in USL League One over these last couple of weeks, 100+ heat indexes.
Slipping through, McKinnon tried to pull a quick one. He ends up sailing that one well too high.
Early chances for Greenville, though. Seeing a little more space at the back than they thought they might against this Omaha team that's played better defensively. We asked Tom Castiato about his defense. He said they've really gelled together as the season's gone on. But obviously no Rashid Nuhu tonight. Different voice at the back. See if it affects anything. Yeah, mid-90s right now in Greenville. As you mentioned, the temperature, it almost feels like 100.
Made sure to levy praise to both Nuhu and McGrain in the middle of the week when we talked to him about how they've taken a part in how organizationally the defense has gotten better and better throughout the season. Castro does well there. Couldn't get that one by. Coutinho. Able to get this one back to Schultz. Greenville will continue this venture as they rotate it to the other side of the pitch.
You mentioned it in the lineups. No Luca Mastrantonio tonight, Mark. Wasn't mentioned among the injuries during the week. So Chef Brewer going over to that left back spot. Marco Milanesi in the middle with Swahi. A bit of a change at the back, along with the goalkeeping change. It doesn't always equal success. Chef Brewer hasn't played much left back, mostly on the right side. Here he is here against McKinnon. That's a good tackle.
Does well to stab that one out. The assistant official sees it didn't come off of McKinnon, so it'll go out for a corner kick. Our first PNC corners for kids of the evening.
We saw a training ground set piece come off for Greenville on Wednesday night. We'll see if they can pull one off again tonight. You saw the celebration. They were so happy that it had actually, well, it almost worked to perfection. Jamie Smith's header off the bar was put home by Jacob Labovitz. I'm sure that wasn't exactly how it worked in training, but it was close.
Gavilanes with the service. I think we're getting another corner kick here. And that confirmed. Another PNC corners for kids. Take two for the Triumph. Hear the drumming of the Reedy River Riot. Opposite end of the pitch as of right now.
Listen, Alan, if she tells you to move it, move it.
Gavilanes with the service into the hands of McGrain. John Harkes, when we asked him about do his players get up a little bit for games like this, he said yes. Games against Tormenta, North Carolina, Charlotte obviously have the geographical implications to it, but this Omaha game is another one of those that the guys always love to get up for. He said if you can't get up for that, then something's wrong. And they know what kind of challenge coming into today, and they're excited for it and are ready to step up their game.
I think the rivalries that happen naturally like this one are the best ones, right? We've had some geographical ones that they've tried to get going, right? But Tormenta have dominated against Greenville so much over the last couple of years, there really hasn't been much of a rivalry.
And here come Omaha into the center. It's still squeaking around. Aaron Walker steps in and does away with that ball. Omaha still working though. Skiers. That's a heavy challenge from Alan Gavilanes.
Obviously had the rivalries that sort of thrived on social media as well. Right, the Henny Derby. Lexington, I think Lexington and Knoxville had some great banter over the last couple of meetings on social media. But this is, I think, the biggest rivalry that sort of occurred because of actions on the pitch. There's always a little more around these meetings between these two teams, especially with the 4 draws, 5 draws overall in the 9 meetings. A lot riding on this one tonight.
Yeah, both sides with 2 wins and then 5 draws. Akoff with a lot of room, taps it forward. Some good build up here, but it doesn't reach Dos Santos.
It's been a wide open game so far, Mark. I'm surprised. I thought it'd be more of a midfield battle, at least to start off in this one, but there's been tons of space in the final thirds for both sides. Neither keeper severely tested just yet.
You can feel it coming, though. At least at this rate. Doyle pokes it up to Brewer. Omaha retaining possession here. You briefly mentioned the high temperature for these past few months. Dominic Casciato said it's so important to have depth during that span of time. He said last Saturday was a great example. They hit into triple digits in Omaha. He said every player is responsible for the success of the team, and they saw some of that in that game. Players coming off the bench and making an impact. Both coaches seem to be pleased with the guys going down the bench, going down the roster, being able to come in and leave their impact on the game.
One thing to keep an eye on later when playoff places are really being sorted out is I'm sure no one's going to want to go to Northern Colorado in October, Mark.
Certainly.
Speaking of the opposite conditions from the heat that we've been experiencing over the last couple of weeks. Anoka, obviously, even with their struggles of late, comfortably in the playoff picture for now. I'm sure nobody's going to want to go out there. Potentially have to deal with some chilly temperatures. We do have 3 straight home games coming up after tonight's big trip to North Carolina.
Here's Castro, graciously receiving the ball there, but then he loses it.
The last 2 games of the regular season, Noka will host Madison and Chattanooga. I think Madison will certainly have something to play, and temperatures in Madison won't be getting any warmer at that point in the year either.
Yeah, that'll be one of the teams that will be more accustomed to it. Of course, you have to account for the altitude as well as the cold, but Madison at least has half the equation. That's something Greenville's still having to recover from as well, going to the altitude last Saturday. John Harkes called this Omaha team a side with a ton of confidence and belief right now, which he believes is, of course, a very important aspect to how a team is doing.
Dom Casciato having a little bit of a jab at referee Zalazkov after that challenge. Coutinho late on that one. That could certainly have been a card. Wouldn't have batted an eyelid if it was.
Triumph fans, download the Triumph app to vote for the song of the match. Voting will end at the 35th minute of the first half. The song will be
Though they're on a
played
5-game
during
win
halftime
streak,
from your favorite DJ,
John Harkes mentioned that it's a side that have pulled out some of these games by thin margins. Said they're going to be organized, though. They're a good side with a lot of experienced players. Meanwhile, inversely, Dominic Casciato described Greenville as a team that he knows what they'll be, even if they're tactically flexible. He said they're going to have to prepare for a couple different scenarios coming into the game. They'll be ready for any of them at the Triumph throw. He said it does feel like a little more is at stake, and he loves to be a part of intense games like this, and so does players. So it's a matchup that on both sides the players are eager to participate in.
We talked about Omaha's hot run. Greenville only has 2 losses since the end of May. They've been racking up the wins of late, although only 3 of their wins this season have come against teams currently in the playoffs, and 2 of those against Charlotte. Meanwhile, half of their wins have come against teams in the bottom 3s. This would be a real statement win for Greenville. How red hot Omaha are playing, coming off the short week. This would be a real win to say, hey, we're going to be a team to contend with once again come the postseason.
You don't mean to sell you the significance of Omaha winning this game. 6th straight, Ty Lansing in that regard, and then would have the chance to make it 7.
Listen, that bye in the first round, so important as well. Get that week off, 1 less game you have to win.
Plus, you get the home game guaranteed in the semifinal. Werner Park, it's a tough place to play, especially if you get into the postseason.
Listen, all these top 6 teams are quality sides have had their hot runs at times this season. Tremendous Knoxville trying to hang around, but these top 6 trying to pull away from the bottom 6. Obviously, we're going to be fighting till the end for playoff position.
Had a significant result on Wednesday between Tormenta and Northern Colorado. We'll see the highlights for that at halftime.
Big late equalizer.
Here come Greenville. Ball floated into the middle for Coutinho. McKinnon tried to take it and did not hit that right.
Well, he had Aaron Walker right inside of him, wide open, and Walker put his hands out saying, hey, buddy. Bit of a snapshot by McKinnon. Had a little more patience there.
Walker, a guy who's demonstrated he has the range to shoot from beyond the 18. Doyle over to Swahi.
Talking earlier about weather. They got some weather in Lexington tonight. That game delayed kickoff due to the lightning. Spread things out a bit with all these early games tonight, Mark. 3 7 o'clocks and 2 7:30 Easterns.
Milanese able to step on that one. Castro trying to bring it forward. Another busy day in USL League One. All these games, oh, so important. You mentioned earlier the 6 playoff teams currently with a bit of a cushion. But if we know anything about this league, it's that it never stays that simple for very long.
No. Chef Brewer making a point. Oh, we've seen this a lot more happening lately, Mark, as referees, fourth official helping out here, making sure they take the... Did see a funny meme this week of what these players do at the pro level with these throw-ins just moving halfway down the field. Referees have clearly been told to crack down on it.
Well, we saw that whole Aviles debacle on Wednesday. One thing's for certain, these refs early on in this game have been no nonsense. Between Wednesday and today, the focus for Greenville has been recovery. John Harks mentioned that rest has been the emphasis both Thursday and Friday leading into this one. Once again, 2 physical bouts with Northern Colorado and Chattanooga, on top of the fact that you've already played twice this week.
We mentioned the health of the team allowing John Harks to do that. The first 2 or 3 months of this season, he couldn't rotate. So short of players, injury-wise. He didn't have the luck to be able to rotate players, but I think he's done it smartly over the last few games here, especially in the center of that midfield. May see Devin Boyce later on tonight against his former team, I would imagine.
Well, he's gotten to the point where he has the luxury of not including players in the starting 18 just out of practice form. Akoff gets that one to ricochet off of Lee and out for a corner kick.
Devin Boyce really the only wide option tonight for John Harks on the bench. Obviously can play centrally too. Obviously we've seen Coutinho drift out to the wings if need be as well at times.
Corner for
to adjust things.
Omaha.
See how this game goes along.
Connor Doyle makes his way over to the right corner flag. I mentioned it earlier. Several big targets on this Omaha side. This one dips down and ultimately doesn't make any meaningful contact. Coutinho does well there. Now Greenville could spring a counterattack. Lucas Coutinho going down the right-hand side. He's got Castro streaking. Coutinho nutmegs the defender. Castro across the center. And that one knocked away by a backtracking Swahi.
I think he's more mad at himself than anything, Leo Castro. I think he probably saw Alan Galvalanes out the corner of his eye, but it was good work back by Omaha. Castro should perhaps have just had a crack himself. Right there. Aikoff was coming over to help, though. It was Swahi in the end. He knocked it away from Galvalanes. Good work back by the big man. An ever-present figure in the back line for Omaha this season.
Alexi Swahi, just one of 3 players left who've played every minute for their club this season. Alexi Swahi, and worth noting, the other 2 players, both playing with Forward Madison, Jake Kroll and Bernd Shipman. Here's Mazzola. Launches this one down the field, and Castro keeps it. Poked away by Milanese. Not the cleanest of clearances. Now it's Frankie with a curling cross. McCrane able to clutch that one.
One thing Jared Mazzola has in his arsenal is that big boot. Superbly accurate as well. Mazzola, who mentioned missed that last game with a calf strain, pulled himself out of the NOCO game last week, and John Hurk said he was very proud of him as a young pro for doing so. It's been one of those nagging injuries that's been bothering him for a few weeks. He had the sense to pull himself out when he felt it a little more. Last Saturday put Gunther Rankenberg in a bit of a tough spot, but he pulled the clean sheet out.
Omaha once again with possession, trying to work it forward here. Floated ball over the top. Brewer is met by 2 defenders. Frankie gets tossed down by Shaft Brewer. It'll be a free kick for Greenville. Grabs that right arm. Turns Frankie around. As Omaha tries to unlock this Greenville defensive side. As Coutinho looking to do the same thing the other way. Lucas Coutinho still going. Coutinho shoots. And it bobbles out of the hands of McGrain. No pressure around him though, so he's able to collect the spillage.
Yeah, Dom Casiato's got to be a concerned man right now with the amount of space that these Greenville attackers are finding themselves in this final third. Been able to take advantage yet, though. That was a scuffed effort there with his weaker foot.
So the Owls will push forward once again. I talked to Dom Casiato a little bit about how do you promote creativity in your offense and finding those lanes where the players can express themselves, and he gave us a wonderful quote. He said, when you have the ball, you want the guys to be artists, and when they lose it, you want them to be soldiers. Which I think pretty much epitomizes the different mindsets of defending versus attacking. And he said, each week we tie in our principles and potential weaknesses of the opponents we play against, and we'll construct drills that way in order to put them in scenarios where they could find themselves during the match. I'm sure those meetings are very interesting from coaching staffs as they construct those sort of practice plans.
So Greenville playing more of a 3 at the back tonight, Mark. I know Frankie's, I thought we'd see him on the left side, but he's certainly playing more of a right wing back. And Liam McKinnon is left wing back. Gavalania's pinching in a lot more than he is normally. John Hark's changing things up a little bit.
A lot of room to operate over here on the left-hand side. It's that same line, McKinnon. Coutinho, and he was behind that back line, so it'll be a free kick.
Triumph fans experience
Select the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice.
I can't remember the last time we've seen Alan Gavilanes play a central role, Mark.
It has been a hot minute. If ever at all.
It's almost like a 3-6-1 they're playing.
Frankie and Gavilanes exchanging there. Castro tracking that one down. Milanese doing well. Earns his team a throw. Schaffbrewer palming the ball. Ready to toss this one back into play. There'll be a call for a handball on Nathaniel Schultz. So far in this one, both sides with some chances running down the pitch. Greenville with a wealthier share. We remain at 0-0 in a series that has been all drawn up so far this season. Important game in the context of the playoff picture, which we're getting to that point in the year, Ross, so we can safely start talking about the teams in the playoffs versus out. Earlier in the year, you wait and you temper expectations. Got a good idea of the 12 clubs now, where they stand, what they're capable of.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for Tormenta and Knoxville. I think are the only two teams, if the teams continue playing as they are. Richmond obviously struggling of late. I don't see them making a run. Lexington have shown moments of brilliance, just not consistent enough. I think Tormenta or Knoxville will have to have either Greenville, Madison, or Charlotte even perhaps struggle mightily over these last few games if they're going to make a playoff run.
You need to bring up Northern Colorado as well, a side that has struggled as of late.
Yeah, but already at the 40-point mark. I think 40-point mark. I think they're okay for now.
Akoff with the ball inside, headed away by Walker.
Aaron Walker's going to have to run a ton tonight with this 3-back. Him and Palado sitting the deepest of the midfielders.
Joe Gallardo. Gets the ball slipped to him. Keeps it in play. Connects, and Brito tucks it in. The Owls take the lead.
Joe Brito floating unmarked into the box. Greenville players focused too much on that ball. And Joe Brito made them pay with a composed finish.
Neat build-up from the Owls. And Joe Brito able to finish the job.
Keep an eye on Brito. He makes a nice little run. Noah Palado lost track of him. He was also trying to help out with Dos Santos.
Dolabella doing well to not interfere with this ball. You see it go right by him. He has the thought in mind to incorporate the back heel and flick it on. Probably heard Brito call for it.
Due to the high temperature,
See Steven Dos Santos, that's what he'll do. A man of his veteran presence will attract dual defenders, and that's what happened there. Schultz and Palado both went to Dos Santos and left Brito wide open.
That's Joe Gallardo's 3rd assist of the season. It's Brito's 2nd goal. As you see, action has slowed down for a moment. We're having a hydration break in Greenville. You mentioned earlier, Ross, a sweltering day in Greenville, South Carolina. In the 90s, and like you said, nearly feeling triple digits.
Joe Brito, assisted by number 11.
Well, we were just talking about the playoff race and the playoff picture, Ross. We've got a couple games to highlight upcoming in these next 2 weeks that fans of the league should be keeping an eye on, starting with next Sunday, the Hailstorm playing Charlotte Independence, a series that is currently split 1-1. These are two sides that have some high-octane offenses.
Yeah, two teams that can definitely score goals. NoCo certainly a desperate need of a win. Charlotte, the season's been an up-and-down season, but they're hanging around in that top four, and a win there would certainly cement that spot.
Then we've got the Owls here going up against North Carolina FC. This will be their next game. It's a week and a half from now. They've only played once this season, and it was at Caniglia Field back early in the year. Players are still wearing long sleeves, which seems like such a distant memory at this point in time. We're currently having a hydration break.
Well, this matchup would be serious if Omaha could continue their streak going into that one. North Carolina looking to cement their spot at the top and a bye all the way through the playoffs. An interesting matchup for sure.
Yeah, Omaha, if they win this game, a win against North Carolina would be the record-breaking 7, and what a way to break that record. And then North Carolina later that week continue a tough road stretch at Omaha into a road trip at Greenville, a series that North Carolina has won both matches 2-1 so far this season.
Yeah, Greenville 0-2, as you mentioned, against North Carolina. Just had that one lucky goal there off the penalty bounce, but always a fun matchup. Who knows what'll be on the line in this game.
See that goal from Daniel Wu scoring against the team he grew up playing with. And then last but not least, worth noting, Madison sitting in that 6th place spot right now in Knoxville, one of the aggressors to the playoff spot, as you highlighted earlier. It's a series where Knoxville leads with a win and a draw. Bit of a controversial result last time the two teams played. A couple of goals called back by Madison. Got the Flamingo faithful riled up on social media. They'll be looking for payback there.
When are they not riled up on social media, Mark?
That is true.
Even when they're winning, I think they're riled up.
Very fervorous fan base.
Shout out to the Parliament fans at Cross Drain Brewing tonight. They'll be happy with how things stand.
Currently see their side sitting on a 6th straight win, should the result hold. So head out to Walker. Walker inside the 18, Castro. His touch got stuck between him and Coutinho. And they're gonna call a foul on Pilato here. So it'll be a free kick for Omaha.
Another look at this one. Yeah, he got his toe on the ball, Pilato, but he came through the leg of DeSantos to get there. That man Trevor Ammon scored again, Mark.
That's 18 then.
Yeah, it is. 1-0 lead for the Hailstorm in Kerry.
And now Omaha streaking forward again. Akoff still going. Back up top, he misses his target. Was trying to find Brito once again. And then a foul on Lion McKinnon will mean a free kick for Greenville. A dangerous moment for the Owls going forward.
Yeah, I wonder if Dion Akoff could perhaps have taken that one himself. He looked up. Nate Schultz was drifting away from him, as was Smith, and made the wrong decision in the end. A little too unselfish.
Worth noting on that Trevor Ammon goal, 18 goals on the season, which ties Emiliano Terzagi's 2021 run. And he did it in, that's 4 less games than Terzaghi. Terzaghi did his 18 goals in 27 games.
No, it's impressive. It's been a great season for the Hailstorm striker. Not sure if any of us really saw it coming. He had a decent campaign last year, but playing out of his skull this season.
If I remember hearing a month or two ago, Eamon Zayed said something along the lines of, we knew he was going to take a step up this season, but not like this. Greenville are going to need a player to step up here to find an equalizing goal. Worth noting, though, the past 2 games have taken place at Paladin Stadium in first half stoppage time. 2 goals have been scored in both of them. So certainly, empirically, more action to come in this one. Frankie heads it in, and McGreen gets there before Castro. So you see here, Omaha not only looking for that 6th win in a row, but could also match Greenville in wins since Omaha has joined USL League One back in 2020. You mentioned earlier, Ross, that the rivalries that are born of competition sometimes could be the better ones, and that's why this one is the standard when it comes to rivalries across the league. These are the two teams that have had the most success since they've come in. I mean, you have that championship that was to be that didn't happen.
Yep.
Then you had the championship that did happen, and then a couple of classics along the way. And another ESPN2 appearance as Omaha has the opportunity to get a second.
Jamie Smith almost just gifted Steven Dos Santos that one. Trying to be a little too cheeky in chipping it over Jared Mazzola.
Mazzola reading that one. Could have been a lot worse for Greenville. Castro pops the shot. And that one nearly on target. Well, let's see this sequence of events again, starting with this mistake. Jamie Smith putting it on a platter for Steven Dos Santos. And then on this side, Castro getting inventive with it, popping it over Milanese. I think McGreen would have had that handled had it been on target towards that left side, but don't know for certain. Another great slipping ball through. Akoff has had a day, and Akoff gets saved.
Yeah, we've seen Greenville go with his back three a few weeks ago. They went back to the back four when they were struggling a little bit defensively. You see Aaron Walker already hands on knees. He's feeling it this first half. See if John Harkes makes a change at the break. Akoff's pace just too much at the moment. Good save in the end by Mazzola. Made himself big. See, asking for help here.
Akoff, a combination of technical ability and pace, which Dom Casciero said sometimes you don't get the two of those in League One. It's rare to get the combination. Frankie surveying his options. Pilato finds Gavilanes, who chips it up. McKinnon is not going to beat Akoff here. Gavilanes swinging it across. There's nobody there. Brewer can take his time inside his own 18. Look at that pace. Brewer demonstrating his speed, still with the ball. Greenville out of sorts. Shaft Brewer once again. Slipping through now. Opportunity for Omaha. It's saved by Mazzola. From one end down to the other, Union Omaha generating this chance. But Jared Mazzola keeping it a one-score game.
This is a filthy bit of skill from Pedro Dolabella. That's a high-class save to match it, too. From Jared Mazzola. He's been a busy man these last 5 minutes. Kept this one 1-0.
Corner for Union Omaha.
We're going to get a corner kick for the Owls. This segment of the match brought to you by ScanSource, accelerating growth for partners and calling Greenville home for 30 years. It's 1-0 for now, but the Owls smell blood in the water right now.
Yeah, Greenville just trying to get to the half.
Doyle sends it in, headed back into the fray. Dos Santos, I think he won a deflection there. It's another corner kick. The Owls moving with a lot of potency right now. Given the state of things right now, they'll want to try and bury another before the whistle.
Corner for Union Omaha.
Because they seem more than likely to. Doyle drives this one long, headed back in the middle, and Mazzola collides with, I believe, Dos Santos. Looked like he took a knee to the back.
It's going to hurt. They do teach you as a keeper to jump for that ball with your knee. Now we get a bit of a shoving match. Jamie Smith's not a man I'd want to mess with.
It was actually Alexi Swahi that he collided with.
JP Skiers separating Smith from Joe Gallardo quite wisely, the captain.
Let's take a peek at that collision again.
Good aerial door win. You can see, I don't think there was any intent. Mazzola was just trying to protect himself.
Well, that actually did the trick in that regard. Unfortunately, it meant that Sawahi took a leg. Now, granted, if he hadn't stuck out the leg, then it would have been all of Jared Mazzola running into him, more than likely. But one way or another, that's not going to provide much solace to Alexi Sawahi, who that's going to leave a mark.
Yeah, hopefully just a bang. It's another twist, really. Hopefully it was either side of the spine on the muscle, perhaps.
Swahi, 2,070 minutes played this season, plus all of the stoppage time included. The numbers don't account for those, but he has played every moment of every game so far this season for Dominic Casciato's side. Makes up with Jared Mazzola. Just two guys going for the ball. We're back at it. Schultz. Down that right-hand sideline, connects with Frankie. Frankie to Castro. Castro. Can't quite keep it in play. So a couple of moments for Mazzola in this game. Made some big stops. The goalkeeper union between him and Jared is amazing. That's how John Harkes described the two of them. Very supportive of each other. Castro. That's a good touch from Gavilanes. He tried the shot. He gets it back. And that one will soar out of play.
The fourth official has indicated 5 minutes of stoppage time presented by Engineered Sleep.
So we're going to get 5 minutes of stoppage time brought to you by Engineered Sleep, the best handmade mattresses in town. Visit engineeredsleep.com for better sleep. I mentioned it once, I'll mention it again. You don't want to turn this game off for a halftime break too quickly, trying to get ahead of it. 4 goals in stoppage time in the past 2 games here at Paladin Stadium. First, against Charlotte, it was 2 goals for Leo Castro, and then on Wednesday, it was a goal for Jacob Labovitz, and then Siobhan Marsh. You'll see those highlights at halftime, in case you weren't able to catch those games. At least the Chattanooga game, you'll see the Wednesday highlights. Kinnan, is it for Gavilanes to throw in?
I think Omaha will certainly be pleased with the way this first half has gone. Greenville had some bright moments early, but really haven't tested McGreen in the last 20 minutes or so. The last shot on target was back in the 26th minute. Meanwhile, Omaha could be 2-3-0 up if their finishing has been a little more clinical, and Jared Mazzola has kept things 1-0. John Harkes got some things to think about at the break.
Bakoff throwing it in. Walker will send this one all the way back to Mazzola. He's demonstrated that he can distribute with a bit of lethality. Schultz. A little bit too far ahead for Castro. And that one escorted nicely for McGreen to pick up. JP Skierce doing well there to body off the veteran striker.
JP Skierce back at his usual defensive midfield spot tonight. Played left back pretty much for the last game on last Saturday against Chattanooga. Those guys in League One that just goes about his business very effectively in his 100 games. Doesn't make much noise. Will score goals. He's one of those unsung heroes for Omaha, that's for sure.
Yeah, when you're in a dead ball situation, that's priority number one. Look for where JP Skierce is. And here's a heads-up shot that is well off the mark. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to be out for a throw, and it is.
It's off target. That's what that was, Mark. It's going to go down as off target. Already got a couple of goals in Chattanooga. We'll update you with all the scores around the league at the halftime break, so stay tuned for that. One late game tonight. Central Valley hosting Madison, 10:30 Eastern.
Able to catch that one after this one's conclusion. Opportunity here. Castro once again trying to hit it one time.
He's just been a little out of sync in this first half. He's had chances to make decisions that could lead to goals, or he's done things like that. It's just not the best 45 minutes for Castro. Hasn't played a ton of late. He's way off the mark. Just come to expect so much quality from him. And there's 10 goals in this season in his first League One campaign. Veteran from Columbia.
A player who's proven his value in several different scoring moments. Also has 4 assists on the year. Zola just gets that one out in time. And ultimately gives it right back to Omaha, who will look to make this foray the last one of the half. Lee does just enough to prevent a corner kick. And Akoff will take his time to make his way over to this ball. Plays it short. Gallardo, always inventive, wins the corner. This will probably be the last moment of the half.
Yeah, those that have been long-time League One fans will remember what Joe Gallardo could do back in his days with North Texas.
Corner for Union
Richmond, excuse
Omaha.
me. I'm getting my red teams wrong. Before making that move to the championship.
Talking about North Texas, that's one of the teams that Union Omaha is currently tied with when it comes to this winning streak. North Texas, 2 separate times in 2019
That's right.
had a 5-game win streak. Wild to think about.
Packed 6-yard box here, Mark. Everybody's within 3 yards of Jared Mazzola's goal line.
Ball's driven in, close to the header. Not on target. And that'll do it for the first half of action. Greenville looked positive early, but then Omaha flipped the script, scored a goal, and continued to be venomous on the attack. 1-score game going into the break. Joe Burrito with a tidy finish after some wonderful build-up from Joe Gallardo and Dion Akoff. That's where we sit after 45-plus minutes of action. 1-0 for the Owls on the road, trying to claim 3 points, a 6th straight win, as well as a series victory on the season. We're going to step aside for a moment. When we come back, we have some great halftime content coming your way on ESPN+. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll see you then.
This is no sleepy-headed, moving in reverse kind of state. We're home to barrier-breaking humans who took $7 billion and invested it in microchips, potato chips, nope, education. This investment, it builds jobs and more jobs where people create things like flying, not that. Who does all this? Forward-thinking pilgrims of change, like you. South Carolina. Now that's smart.
You know, I'm just feeling a lot of pressure. There's big shoes to fill. It's your time now, Tommy. I know you'll keep it special like your dad did.
If we can keep this business growing, I think that's the best way to honor him.
Well, I was there for him, and I'll be there for you.
About this new location,
He would have loved it, Tommy. Let's find a way.
What's up, guys? If you're celebrating a birthday, entertaining family, treating your employees, or rewarding a youth soccer team, bring them to Werner Park.
We've got deals for groups of 15 or more starting as low as $13 a ticket.
Your group will be seated together to enjoy the match and catch your video board shout out at halftime.
Want to see the action up close?
For an even more unique experience, our field level corner kick suite is 20% off now through October.
See you soon, Omaha.
See you soon, Omaha.
See you soon, Omaha.
We offer a full array of dental treatment, and what that provides you as a patient is you're able to come to one place and get comprehensive care under one roof.
I've always been greeted with a smile. They know me when I call. I trust them.
We'd love to see you at Wood Creek Dental. Visit us at woodcreekdental.com.
This evening's USL League One broadcast is presented by Hummel North America, proud partner of the Greenville Triumph. Let's take a look at the history of the season, or the history of the series between Omaha and the Greenville Triumph throughout the years. Worth noting, I mentioned it during the game, 2, 2, and 5 for both sides in this series. 2 wins for Greenville, 2 wins for Omaha, and then 5 draws between the two sides. Ross, a couple of big moments between these two sides. And, I mean, of course, you've got the 2021 championship game, the 2021 ESPN2 performance. That goal from Nicholas Firmino kind of sits in everyone's head from that one. And then we had that 3-3 game earlier this year where Jacob Labovitz scored a fabulous strike. 2 Wednesday games pertaining to that 6th place spot, that playoff line, starting in Greenville, round 2 this season between the Triumph and the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Here is a goal of the week contender, Lucas Coutinho, going 3-on-1 right there, bodying off the defender and then placing it top shelf. Excellent strike from him. Then 45th minute +3 from the training ground. Pilato sets up Jamie Smith, and Jacob Labovitz cleans up the duty and gets the job done. For the second game in a row, it has been 2 goals that have been scored in first half stoppage time at Paladin Stadium. So don't take your halftime break early if you're watching a game here, because they don't hang it up early. They wait till that whistle blows. Here's the other goal that happened in stoppage time, 45 minutes +8. Siobhan Marsh makes it 2-1, cutting the deficit in half. The Chattanooga Red Wolves on the road, trying to find a point against this tough Greenville Triumph side. They'll go into the locker room feeling a little bit better, being within 1 score, thanks to that man right there, Mr. Marsh. Double-digit goals on the season for him. Then, in the 88th minute, late in the game, Riley Kraft has the opportunity to level this one up, and he just heads it wide. Also got to be careful there, Evan Lee, nearly deflecting it into his own goal, but he makes sure he doesn't touch it, goes out. And the Greenville Triumph, with John Harkes back, keep that ever-important space between 6th and 7th at a fair distance. But Tormenta can gash into that space, hosting a vulnerable Hailstorm team who are winless in 5 games, and they've also just tripped up Keziah Sterling for an early penalty. And Keziah Sterling, this man knows what to do at the penalty spot. Or does he? He misses, but luckily Keziah Sterling has his head up. He finishes it, gets the goal, makes it 1-0 in favor of Tormenta in a huge game. But 10 minutes later, they put themselves in dangerous territory. Now, what is that dangerous territory? I think I'd like to call it Arthur Rogers territory. When you give up a foul inside that final 18, Arthur Rogers is prone to serve in a deadly ball, gets his 9th assist of the season, but more importantly, Trevor Ammon gets his 17th goal of the season, which is 1 shy of Terzagi's 2021 single season record of 18, and he still has 10 more games to meet and pass that. Another 10-minute interval later, though, in the first half, Hailstorm find themselves in trouble once again. You can't give Keziah Sterling 1 penalty. You can't give him 2 penalties, which is just what's happened here. They'd end up giving him a 3rd penalty in this game. The second attempt, Sterling would put away nicely. He would miss the 3rd one, which would keep this game within striking distance. But at this point, Tormenta looking red hot, and their #1 striker also looking equally as streaky. But in the 93rd minute, it's Arthur Rogers territory once again. Marky Hernandez, don't tell him that he's only 5'5". He heads home the equalizer. We may look back at this result as a pivotal one in the playoff picture. We'll step aside. We'll come back after this from the USL.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know,
As we welcome you back to halftime here between the Greenville Triumph and Union Omaha, 1-0 in favor of the visiting Owls. Let's take a peek at the news and notes across the league in USL League One. What's happening? What are the main things worth discussing? Of course, we've talked a bit about Union Omaha's push for 6 straight wins. They're in place to do it, but another big one, we talked about these in Wednesday as well. Cassini leaving Tormenta earlier this week. Bit of shocking news. Meanwhile, Keziah Sterling winning Player of the Week, with Tormenta dominating some of the headlines here. And Keziah Sterling highlighting as the Player of the Week fits us right into the Team of the Week, which won't feature any Greenville Triumph players, and it also won't feature any Union Omaha players, so just take a chance to assess the players who have garnered some attention. I'm sure some of these Omaha players right now are fitting themselves up for a spot in the Week 24 Team of the Week. That being said, we've got a lot of games happening at this very moment. We already mentioned, of course, you're watching the 1-0 between Union Omaha and the Greenville Triumph. A lot of other games kicking off at roughly the same time. Maybe some weather delays have changed it up a little bit, Ross. But Tormenta with a 2-1 advantage over Chattanooga. Keziah Sterling scoring once again. Ropapa Mensah as well for Chattanooga. And Pedro Fonseca. And then for the Hailstorm, Trevor Ammon with his 18th goal. We talked about a 17th goal on the other side of the break. And now he's up to 18, tying Emiliano Terzaghi. And with that in mind, we'll step aside when we come back. We'll have the highlights and the stats from the first 45 minutes for you right here on ESPN+.
We started thinking about new locations where we need to be. And Spartanburg just made sense because we already had all the connections from 25 years ago, and still currently. I mean, we do a lot of business out of Spartanburg. But we really, really like to pour into our loan officers and to our operations staff. But, I'd love for it to be, another one of our main branches.
It's not about building a home in just 30 hours for a deserving family with Habitat for Humanity, or about building homes for a national television competition. It's about building memorable experiences with our community, team members, and trade partners that will last for a lifetime. Hunter Quinn Homes, building the difference.
We offer a full array of dental treatment, and what that provides you as a patient is you're able to come to one place and get comprehensive care under one roof.
I've always been greeted with a smile. They know me when I call. I trust them.
We'd love to see you at Wood Creek Dental. Visit us at woodcreekdental.com.
Omaha is a soccer city, and Union Omaha is your club. After a USL League One championship in 2021 and a history-making quarterfinal run in last year's US Open Cup tournament, we're back for more. Come and join our last 4 home matches at Warner Park for the price of 3, with options as low as $45. One city, one club, one means all.
This evening's USL League One broadcast is presented by Hummel North America, proud partner of the Greenville Triumph. "1-0 in favor of Union Omaha over the Greenville Triumph. In case you missed the first 45 minutes of action, let's quickly catch you up on everything that took place just 2 minutes into the game. This is after a yellow card already, so things got going immediately, Ross. And Greenville on the front foot early in the game.
Yeah, Lucas Coutinho, a great chance there. One of the best chances they had in this half. He lost his balance, right, as he went to shoot. That resulted in a weak effort.
Now Omaha, though, I would say maybe Greenville had the advantage early on. Doesn't mean the Owls didn't have their own share of chances. This one hitting the woodwork from Steven Dos Santos. Eventually, they would find the fruit to their labors. It wouldn't come just yet. They'd have to stop Greenville here. Lucas Coutinho with an effort that'll skip out of the hands of McGrain, but he's able to pick up the pieces and ensure no danger. And then, 31st minute. Excellent exchange. Joe Gallardo, Dion Akoff, Pedro Dolabella leaves it for Joe Brito, who tucks it home nicely to give the Owls the 1-0 lead they now hold.
Yeah, Brito just drifted in from that left channel, unmarked by a Greenville player, and as mentioned earlier, composed finish.
Here's your stats presented by Warehouse Services Incorporated. Worth noting, Union Omaha, 9 wins and 2 draws when leading at halftime. Greenville, not a single win this season when trailing at the half. So if the data shows us anything, the Owls should be feeling pretty good about the position they're sitting in at this very moment.
And John Harkes isn't wasting any time. As you can see there, Jacob Labovitz, as well as Devin Boyce in this game. It's your adjustment of the match, presented by Upstate Spine and Sport. Boyce against his former team, and Labovitz, who scored recently. John Harkes saw enough in that first half from 10 shots, but not enough quality scoring chances, and the chances they did get, it didn't really trouble McGrain.
Liam McKinnon goes out for Boyce, and Noah Frankie goes out for Labovitz, so surely we'll see some structural changes. Labovitz not exactly a like-for-like substitution for Noah Frankie. And we're underway for another 45 minutes. You mentioned Devin Boyce playing against his former team, had a goal, his only goal of the season against the Owls. That was over at Warner Park. They'll be looking for a similar impact here.
Yeah, I think perhaps more of a 3-5-2 now. Coutinho, I think, was supposed to be pushing up a little more alongside Castro. He had those chances. And Last shot they had on goal was in the 26th minute, so Labovitz now pushing up alongside Castro.
These substitutions brought to you by Spinks. Once again, it's Boyce for McKinnon and Labovitz for Frankie.
John Harkes tried this striking combination earlier this season. It didn't work particularly well, but he did mention this week that he thought he might try it again, and we're going to see it now for 45 minutes.
Perhaps this will be the game that it works out. They are joking that they finally got a set piece play from that training ground to work in the game on Wednesday.
So Gavilanes will go back wide. Coutinho dropping in a little deeper. Boyce out to the right wing for McKinnon in a straight swap there. First card for Greenville.
Following suit with the first half, a quick yellow card on a shirt tug. Nate Schultz with his third of the season.
The referee has issued a caution to Greenville's number 22.
Yeah, coincidentally, he's also number 22, like Connor Doyle. So a mirror image of the way the first half started. Now we'll get a set piece. Probably a good distance for Union Omaha, but it doesn't mean you haven't tried a thing or two in the training ground from this distance. Could require an extra pass or two, but this is roughly where Greenville scored their goal on Wednesday. Of course, on the opposite end. Ball's driven in and ends up going out for a corner kick. The Owls looking for win number 6 in a row, which would tie the League One record. And Greenville looking to deny that to them.
Corner
for competitive
Union
rivals.
Omaha.
Connor Doyle will provide the service here. Doyle floats it in, and it's snagged by Jared Mazzola. Once again, Mark Schoenstern, Ross Davenport here with you, taking you through all the action on ESPN+. We welcome you from wherever you're tuning in, whether you're a Greenville fan, an Omaha fan, or an interested neutral observer. I guess you could throw in a fourth party if you're a fan of one of the other teams and have a preference of a result.
Listen,
We're getting to that part in the year.
Every other team wants this game to be a draw, Mark. That's how it always goes, I think, at this point. Especially you've got two teams in the playoffs. You don't want either team really winning either side of you, so a draw, I think, would be the preferable result for most neutrals watching.
You can get to a point where you just hope that maybe the top 1 or 2 teams win all their games because you can't catch up to them. But I don't think we're at that point just yet.
No, still a little early. Still a little early, perhaps, for scoreboard watching, I think. We are getting into single digits, though, for sure. Some teams will only have 7 games left after tonight.
Here's Labovitz. Coutinho. He'll switch play, and he won't reach Devin Boyce. Devin Lee will get to the end of that one, but his header only connecting with Shaft Brewer. Milanese provides the clearance, and Dos Santos with the touch will end up in the clutches of Jamie Smith. Greenville with all the possession so far, at least most of it, with that corner kick from Omaha. Gavilanes turns, stripped up by Akoff, and potentially dangerous free kick spot. Not gonna get a booking from Alexander Zheleskov.
Yeah, the next one might, you see the referee saying just one too many fouls. Certainly could have found himself in the book after that one from behind. Was going away from goal.
John Harkes mentioned that Pilato took a very nice touch to get to the end line on that goal they scored from the set piece on Wednesday. He said it was a shame Jamie Smith didn't put it away with the game he was playing. He was pleased with the proactiveness from Jacob Labovitz to read that one off the crossbar and play cleanup. Back in the game here early on in the second half, Jacob Labovitz, that is.
A good delivery here. Need pace and accuracy. Need to put it right just outside by the penalty spot, perhaps.
You also got Devin Boyce sitting outside the 18 all by himself. Pilato with the service. The header comes down and hits the side netting. That's Jamie Smith again. Wins 95% of the headers in the air, according to John Harks.
It was a different delivery than I thought we'd see. Went to the back post. Smith was there and perhaps should have put that one on target. That was a golden opportunity. Ruined that one.
Broke his nose on Saturday and then got whacked in the nose on Wednesday. They were a little concerned if he was going to be able to play today. John Harks described him as a guy who's gone through a lot of adversity, but he just has that passion. Football's in his blood, and he's a warrior. Talking about warriors, Devin Boyce taking one on the chin there.
Balls continuing to fly in elsewhere. 2-2 in Chattanooga now, 1-1 in Cary.
Coutinho looking about. Lotto will tap it over to his right. Service comes in, falls to Walker. Can he keep it in? No, he cannot, and he's bemoaning that fact.
A positive start here to the second half for the home team.
Dominic Casciato said, in games like this, you've got to have the right mentality. You got to stand up to the challenge Greenville poses and then play our game. He said when these two teams play, it will always be a battle. You've got to win those second balls.
Wow, early yellow card for time wasting for Mr. McGrain.
It's his first yellow card.
Saw one of those earlier today in the Premier League, right about the same time. Perhaps referees have had a word about that from their bosses as well.
Union Omaha, number 25.
They've certainly crunched down on the silliness today.
In the 54th
We've seen a yellow card for simulation. We saw them being precise with throw-in locations. And now a yellow card for time wasting.
That one right in front of the Reed River right, who let the referee hear that. Didn't like that call against Gavilan. Yes, certainly seen softer fouls. The DNA cuff making a bit of a meal of it. Certainly was contact.
Ian McCrane awaiting the go-ahead. Dos Santos fighting through a couple bodies, and then it's poked out of his possession. Devin Boyce with some room to operate now, taking it across midfield.
75% possession for Greenville so far in this second half. Gotta try and turn it into a goal if they can. Jamie Smith chance was certainly a good one that went begging.
Heavy touch from Lee. He's able to keep it in play. Labovitz gives it back to Lee. Still Alan Gavilanez after his chipping effort was returned back to him. Castro keeps it in play by dishing it over to Boyce. 3 jerseys in front of him. Boyce is able to connect to his right-hand side. That's an excellent touch. Boyce across the center. And Labovitz couldn't bring it down, but it ended up grazing contact. It's out for a corner kick. Boyce letting his team know where that ball is going.
Asking for a corner kick. I'm not sure if they got one. Nice ball here from Noah Pilato. Misplayed in the end. Didn't see any contact from an Omaha player, but
perhaps JP Skier stepped in on that one.
He didn't touch it.
PNC corners
Just a bad miss from Labovitz, but got away with it and get a corner out of it.
PNC corners for kids. The Triumph looking positive early in the second half, trying to find an equalizer. Gavilanes with the service. Castro juggling it, gets it back inside. It's still scrambling around, and then that effort off target. Inventive work from Leonardo Castro to put it right back in the mixer. Came awfully close for the Triumph, but Ian McGrain able to suffocate the chance.
Evan Lee right on the doorstep. Good save in the end from McGrain. Either side of him, and that was 1-1.
A team effort from the Owls to keep that one out. We'll knock this one down the sideline by Coach Dominic Casciato. For those who watched that broadcast between the Owls and Chattanooga on Saturday of last week, I talked to Dominic Casciato a little bit about, there was a moment where the ball came striking down right by him, and he didn't budge an inch. And it took me back. I thought, whoa, that is a cool character right there, just completely unfazed. I'm sure he assessed the situation and knew the ball wasn't going to land by him. But either way, the visual on the broadcast feed was brilliant. And I asked him about showing composure on the sideline and how important that is to him. And he said, well, you want to convey confidence and calm for your guys. If they see you put together, it's going to help them do the same. Mentioned still a work in progress, though. Sometimes he thinks he can still get better at it. But I just thought that was a wonderful non-soccer moment in the game.
He's a defender. He's used to judging high balls coming his way.
Analyze the situation and no perceived danger. I'll go out for a Greenville throw. This Greenville side pretty beaten up from this past week of action. A lot of fatigue demonstrated on Wednesday against Chattanooga. That was what John Harks is telling us. He said just picked up a bunch of bumps and bruises from the Northern Colorado game. And then Chattanooga battled. He said, but luckily, we showed fight too on Wednesday. They need some fight here tonight. Walker reclaims possession. Still pushing forward. It's Walker again. Serves it in. Gavilanes brings it down. Gavilanes back centrally, no one's in the area. And Omaha will recover from that foray. And now a foul on Brito will slow things down for the Owls. And now nearly 60 minutes into the game. It does look like our first sub for Omaha is getting ready to go. And here it is now. So Luis Heel is going to come in for the goal scorer, Joe Brito. Heel, the veteran from Garden Grove, California. Had the assist on Saturday to Alex Steinwasher.
Substitution for Union Omaha.
So in he comes, and out goes Joe Brito, who put in a good shift today.
Number 8, Joe Brito, in the 61st minute.
Yeah, had the yellow card early in this one, so getting Brito out of there before he can pick up a second, perhaps. And we still a pretty good replacement.
Certainly. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2023, whether your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL League One action on ESPN+. The home to the USL, La Liga, the Bundesliga, and UFC, and so much more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Dangerous free kick spot for the Owls. Joe Gallardo, we saw in those clips in that North Carolina game from early in the season, smashed one off the crossbar. Of course, that was several months ago at this point. I don't think he's lost that talent, though, in that span of time.
No.
Got him alongside Marco Milanese getting ready. Gallardo the one making the adjustment. You almost anticipate he'll be the one to take the shot. It will be. It deflects off, hits the crossbar, and the follow-through is good. Steven Dos Santos knocks it in and doubles the lead for the Owls. A ball that pinged around Greenville players, went off ahead, went off the crossbar, and then went off the foot of Steven Dos Santos.
Number 10, Steven Dos Santos in the 63rd minute.
Yep, just first man to that one, first man to react.
Entering the match, number 24,
an unlucky deflection for Greenville. Not sure how much Sawahi knew about it initially.
Number 10, Lucas Coutinho.
That's a professional finish
63rd minute.
from a professional striker.
Goal number 6 on the year for Steven Dos Santos. Over 70 USL goals. He's got the pedigree. He's got the experience. And when the ball falls to his feet in the 18 the way it did just there, you can be pretty confident that he's going to put it away. And you see either in the right-hand side of the screen or on our graphic, Tevin Shaw has come into the game for Lucas Coutinho. A substitution brought to you by Spinks. Greenville triumph in a hole now. The Owls feeling very good about hitting that 6th straight win as it stands, locking up the series this season between the Owls and the Triumph, and also tying them for league wins since the Owls have joined USL League One.
Yeah, sure, we'll settle a little further back now. That'll allow Walker and Pilato to push up a little bit, try and rescue this game. Greenville had the better of the first 15 minutes of this second half. As John Harks has a few words with the 4th official.
Worth noting, the Triumph were down 2 goals all the way until the 74th minute in their first meeting this season, and ended up coming back to tie that game 3-3. That was the game where Devin Boyce had not only his goal on the season, but also an assist. Whistle will blow, and that'll slow play down. The Aaron Walker effort not enough to keep it in play.
Don't forget to fly from GSP International Airport with Avelo Airlines, offering low fares and non-stop flights. Learn more at aveloair.com.
Off to try to break down this Union Omaha back line. The side that's improved throughout the season. Luis Heel. Pass it back for Dos Santos. Heel. It's knocked down by Smith, and it's another free kick for the Owls. Maybe some dissent here from Tevin Shaw. They're going to give him the yellow for a foul earlier in the run of play. And we've actually got the foul in question for you right here.
The referee has issued a caution to Greenville's number
Stepping on the
24,
foot
Tevin Shaw.
of Dos Santos, the goal scorer.
So that'll be his 4th booking of the season. And the Owls with an opportunity to push even further ahead. Last set piece resulted in a goal and a bit of a chaotic situation. Some deflections falling to the feet of that man right there. So I actually end up taking the free kick from the spot of that foul, and will not call it unfair play from Jamie Smith or later on in the sequence. Milanese into the hands of Mazzola. Evan Lee. That one off the side of Aaron Walker into Labovitz. Tried to get Castro running. Akoff on the ball now. And a handball called on Aaron Walker. Some frustration displayed by the captain. Owls pushing forward once again. Akoff finds Gallardo. And Heel unable to get there in time. Sometimes you just need games together. That's what Dominic Casciato was talking about in his backline in particular, but he mentioned the group as a whole also fell into this category. So they've gotten organized, they understand how to react to different situations. Just needed that game experience and understanding of what everyone on the pitch is going to do. As Gallardo collects his 5th yellow card. Been a physical game.
Yeah, it was a bit of a needless one there.
The referee has issued a caution
from Dos Santos.
to Union Omaha's number 11, Joe Gallardo.
See Noah Pilato mimicking the motion of pulling out a card with his belly on the ground. Cavalañez gets knocked over. Another warning from Alexander Zhelezkov to Dion Akoff.
What just happened there? Beato.
To confirm exactly who it is, but it does look to be Joe Gallardo down on the ground moments after being given the yellow card. So they'll check up on him as his side looks to continue to hold on to this 2-goal lead. Meanwhile, the Reedy River Riot will be looking to propel their side. Pride Night at Paladin Stadium. You can see some pride flags on display. Recognize a couple of local LGBTQ+ communities in the Greenville area.
Those fans look pretty cool. Keeping the fans cool.
Cool fans for some cool fans.
Exactly. The owner's up. I don't know what the issue is. Struggling, that's for sure. The end of the night for Joe Gallardo, left foot.
Substitutions for Union Omaha. Entering the match, number 44.
So 2 more substitutions on the docket for the Owls, one of which, of course, is going to be Joe Gallardo coming out. Anderson Holt making just his 5th appearance, excuse me, of the season. Just 18 years old, an academy product from Union Omaha. And then secondly, Dion Akoff will come out for Alex Steinwasser, a goal scorer in their 2-1 victory over the Red Wolves. Akoff, who was incredibly dangerous in the first half for the Owls. Pilato. Header goes up. Boyce rifles it towards goal, contorted his body. It ends up being stopped by McGrain. Demonstrating some elasticity. Devin Boyce.
That was a good effort, all things considered, there from Devin Boyce. That ball was bouncing up high. Get his foot over it to keep it down. Could have gone absolutely anywhere with the amount of traffic in that box in front of McGrain. He did a good job in the end of getting it at the second attempt.
Long ball up the right-hand side of the pitch. Can it be kept in play? Yes, it can. Took a sliding effort to do so. Noah Pilato chips this one up. Aaron Walker can't get it by McCrane, and the offside flag is up anyway. Looking for something fantastic there.
Just a second too late on the pass from Pilato. Walker didn't make good enough contact to get it past McGrain anyway. Looks like Holt will go out to that left-hand side where Akoff was.
Anderson Holt from San Diego. 3rd ever academy signing for Union Omaha. This has played a little over 50 minutes this season, so he's going to get a good chunk of time here. Big opportunity for him to step in and make a name for himself.
Jamie Smith and DeSantos going at it.
Alexander Zaleskov issuing some instructions for the 2 of them. Looking to keep the peace. Been 4 draws in a row between these 2 sides in this series, and this is about the moment where Greenville orchestrated their 2-goal comeback in Omaha earlier this season. Then Greenville won the game before that. Last time Omaha won a game in this series was a game that they remember pretty fondly, probably fonder than any other game in their club's history, the 2021 League One final. Shaw, next Gavilanes. Now it's Evan Lee. Tapped out by Shaft Brewer. Now I get the cannon arms of Jacob Labovitz. Labovitz with the throw. And that's swatted away by McCrane.
Not sure what that was.
Wasn't quite a punch.
It was just editing to get it out of the danger area.
Schultz will quickly throw it into his keeper. 15 more minutes to go. Union Omaha currently looking at a 6th straight victory, which ties the League One record. Boyce keeping it in play. Up top to Walker. Pilato can't keep tabs on it. And Brewer, with a burst of speed, goes forward. Thinks about where to go with this ball. Now he's getting chased down by several green jerseys. McCrane has to do away with that one quickly.
Greenville won't even get a full week's rest after this one. Their next match on Friday night at Lexington. We'll get a bit of a break after that. It's Saturday, September 9th, home against NCFC.
Meanwhile, the Owls get another week and a half before their next game, where they go back home to host North Carolina FC. Again, I'll reiterate, if this result holds, what a matchup that is. 6 straight wins going up against the top of the table. Lee, the ball in, caught by McGrain. And this is an Owls side that, in that win against Chattanooga, had a couple of their bench players who don't have a ton of minutes come in and make contributions. Alex Steinwasser getting his 2nd goal of the season. Eddie Gordon won't get the stat attribution with the goal, but earned the own goal in that one for his side, which ended up being the game winner.
Here's some score updates from elsewhere in that top right-hand corner there.
A lot of goals flying around, Ross.
It seems like it's been like that for the last few weeks. Bruno Rendon with the go-ahead goal for the Hailstorm. Joe Cardona has made things 2-2 right before the half. Chattanooga, they're underway in the second half there. Greenville will certainly be hoping that Tormenta don't manage to pick up the 3 points in that one.
Get a whistle here.
Guard for somebody.
Also got a player down. Alexi Sawahi, this is the 2nd time. It looks like he may be clutching similarly where he got hit in the back in the first half by Jared Mazzola.
He's got a comfy hotel bed tonight. He might need it. It's 2 in the back, as you mentioned, Mark. He's gonna be feeling it. It's been a frustrating night for the home side. 4 shots on target, but McGrain really hasn't been tested, Mark. And that one half-decent save 10 minutes or so ago, Greenville just had those early chances that didn't go in. And those kind of start to pile up. With that said, Omaha could have easily been 2-0, 3-0 up at the half, if not for a couple of quality saves from Jared Mazzola. So the score is certainly a fair reflection, I think, of how this game has gone overall.
So that yellow card that we saw in the corner of our screen was given to
The
Jacob
referee has
Labovitz.
issued a caution to Greenville's number 18, Jacob
It's his 4th
Labovitz,
yellow card of
in
the
the
season.
78th minute.
Swahi having another conversation with his trainer. Again, you see there Anderson Holt, just 18 years old, left side of the screen. When players like Holt and those guys deep on the bench are able to contribute, it's huge for morale. Dominic Casciato said that it's super important. He said the bench guys have been working hard, and when they contribute in a game, it not only reinforces their all-hands-on-deck message that winning goes all the way from the top to the bottom of the roster, is that it also lets the starters know that, okay, this is a guy I can rely on in a game. They see them work hard in practice, so you can be happy for them reaping the rewards of their efforts, but also just to know that the player that you can give the ball to and you know that they'll make plays happen. Here's Holt parrying that one forward. That one in Owl colors in the vicinity. Boyce plays it forward, and that one will roll out of play for a goal kick. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more. all on SiriusXM FC 157 in the SXM app. Speaking of Premier League, Dom Casciato, a fan of the way Brighton plays. Doesn't have a lot of time to watch what's happening in Europe. Apparently a Tottenham fan, which I send my condolences to when I heard that.
Well, they beat my team today, so you'll be happy with that. Brighton, listen, one of those teams with certainly smaller budgets than the Big Six, and they've punched above their weight over the last couple of years.
A big Roberto De Zerbi fan, the manager for Brighton.
There's a lot of them out there. He's a lot of fans. I'm not sure how long he's going to be sticking around with Brighton.
Brewer will trot his way over for this deep throw-in. Goal in the 31st minute on excellent build-up from the Owls, finished by Joe Brito. And then a bit of a scramble of a second goal after some wicked deflections in the second half, falls to the feet of Steven Dos Santos, who may have been the last person on the pitch that Greenville would have wanted that ball to fall to.
Entering the match, number 14, Hassan Gabo.
Yeah, just a little more clinicality in the box tonight for Omaha than the Greenville.
Number 22,
Hassan Gabo makes his way on.
Nate Schultz will make room for him. That substitution brought to you by Spinks. Gabo with his 6th appearance of the season. And he immediately gets involved.
He gives it away.
I think that ball may have fallen somewhere in the crowd, earning some ooze. Hearing it hit someone upside the head. I hope they're doing all right.
Gotta be aware.
Keep your head on a swivel. If you're at a soccer game, really no matter where you're sitting, there is still a non-0% chance that you're in the splash zone, no matter how high up the rafters you are.
That's one thing they missed from Legacy early, is that fans behind the goal. Especially got to be aware back there. You might have an opposing goalkeeper kicking the ball into you.
Both players going down there. I'm going to say Steinwasser, the enforcer. And started tumbling and took Gabo with him.
Alex, the cousin of Nate Steinwasser, the Detroit City goalie, one of the best keepers in USL Championship.
Cavallani's with the service. And Smith nearly making contact there, but was going towards the ground as he attempted it. Good ball from Alan Cavallani's. Jamie Smith.
Yeah, Smith was in the vicinity. Just missing that final touch tonight. I think John Harkes will be particularly disappointed in the performance overall. Between the boxes, they played all right. Just had one moment and left Joe Brito wide open and got a bit unlucky on the second goal.
Walker inside of Labovitz. Doesn't reach him. Kevin Shaw able to maintain possession. Smith had to fight off Connor Doyle there. I think Connor Doyle was starting to see a breakaway opportunity there. A little frustrated he couldn't win the ball back. Got 2 soccer balls on the pitch.
Multi-ball. It's a pinball. It's more fun when you have 2 balls on the pitch, right?
Certainly more to keep account of. This segment of the match brought to you by ScanSource, accelerating growth and calling Greenville home for 30 years. This ball driven inside, but Grain able to get both his paws on it.
Greenville just have to reset, go into Lexington, team they beat earlier this season. Try and pick up 3 points there, or at least a point on the road. Omaha just going to keep rolling, Mark. Got their eyes set now, certainly on a potential first round bye.
Yeah, they certainly don't need our recommendations of what steps to take.
Listen, the amount of talent, I think when everybody saw the amount, especially midfield talent that this Omaha team was putting together at the start of the season, I think many people thought they would certainly contend. And they got off to that slow start, but it just took them a little while to get used to playing with each other. Got it going now. Shivani Willis getting a little late action here.
Willis, another one of those deep bench players who can make contributions. Only shoot or only score screamers. I mean, you've got a bunch of new pieces, new head coach. I mean, there's a lot to figure out as the season starts, and it's a wild league too, where there's no gimme games. So I don't think there's ever too much to blame for the side taking a little while to get acclimated and develop that chemistry and that gelling.
It's maybe the second clean sheet in 10 games for Omaha. Their backup goalkeeper, if they can hold on here for the last few minutes.
Yeah, Rashid Nuhu sitting on the bench this evening. I'm sure he'll be celebrating the success of his goalkeeping compatriot. It's Mazzola bracing some contact there to win the ball.
So far, Omaha, they've had 20 goals in each half this season.
Wow.
20 in the first and 20 in the second.
That's a nice balance.
And it'll now be 2 losses in the last 14. So it's not just this 6-game win streak that they've been putting together. They've been very strong since the late stages of June. 10 wins in their last 12 now. Considering they only won 2 of their first 12. Lucky they were picking up points with 7 draws in that span. Stoppage time in Cary. Hailstorm trying to hang on to what would be a big 3 points, their first win in a long time.
With as the points are now, it also mean Union Omaha just a singular point behind North Carolina FC for the top of the table. Granted, North Carolina with 1 game in hand, but they may want to take a page out of the Owls' book and turn their head 180 degrees and look what's behind them. I don't think their uprising has been quiet. I think most people are pretty aware of it, but still needs to be acknowledged. Avalañez trying to pull one out of the hat.
Kind of sums things up tonight. Charlotte have taken a 1-0 lead at Knoxville. Five minutes or so to go in that one. Turn over to that one, whatever you like. Lexington Richmond tied at the half, 0-0. That's second half will be going there soon. Still a half hour left in Chattanooga and Tormenta 2-2. Plenty of action to check out after this one. We mentioned the late game later on. Fuego Madison at 10:30 Eastern.
Avalañez.
The 4th official has
able to connect with Labovitz. We've got a ton of time left in this one. 7 minutes brought to you by Engineered Sleep, the best handmade mattresses in town. Visit engineeredsleep.com for better sleep.
Blood clot problem. Should be okay to travel to Lexington by bus. He hasn't been able to travel by plane lately for obvious reasons.
Lee bringing it down. Lee squares it centrally.
Well, this one might not be over yet, Mark.
Jacob Labovitz slashing one back for the triumph. That goal brought to you by YMCA Greenville. And they rush back to the kickoff spot.
Just a long ball from Jamie Smith. And a hopeful found Evan Lee. That was a nice little touch inside and a superb finish from Jacob Labovitz.
It's a career best second assist on the season for Evan Lee. He's had a couple of seasons where he's had one. Never had one where he's had 2 assists.
Some half claims for handball on Evan Lee.
Jacob Labovitz knocking home his 4th goal and his 2nd goal in a row in a game.
I'd love to get him going, that's for sure. Had that torrid spell last season. And then cooled off towards the end and really hadn't got things going this year, but now 2-2.
Had that absolutely fantastic strike to tie things up against Omaha on the road. An over-the-shoulder volley. 5 more minutes to go in this one.
Well, stranger things have happened.
I mentioned in the first half, stoppage time has been a spot for goals here at Paladin Stadium. Greenville will be looking for one more. This one headed down. Labovitz just clipped it. How many more chances do Greenville have in this one? That's really well done from Castro.
Yeah, just bounced at an awkward moment for Labovitz. He's always going to have trouble keeping it down. But yeah, great aerial duel win by the veteran.
That'll be an Omaha throw. Maybe a little bit more emphatic on running out the clock now as we get a look at John Harks. Smith with a bit of a nutmeg to Evan Lee. Kevin Shaw sprays it out wide. Devin Boyce now. Boyce switches the point of attack. Gavilanes with the ball inside, flicked along a couple of times. Walker can't get his foot on it.
And Walker's running on fumes right now.
Mazzola at the 40-yard line. And that one not connecting with anybody. Three more minutes, if even that.
Mentioned Charlotte scoring earlier. Trezor Mbuyu with the goal for them. Got a lightning delay in Chattanooga.
Tormenta and lightning delays.
So don't turn over to that one when we're done here. Is there any more lightning left in right? Tevin Shaw called for the foul. That may add a few more seconds on the end of this one.
People may not acknowledge it, but that's a wise move from Shivani Willis there to just knock the ball away while the ref wasn't looking.
I'm not sure what Tevin Shaw did there. The foul was perhaps on Aaron Walker. I don't think it was on Shaw. The referee did point at Walker. Shaw just got ran into. So perhaps another minute added on this one. Dolabella was trying to go short. Take more time off this clock, but is there one last chance here for the Triumph?
Boyce with a quick trigger pass up the pitch. McCrane will willingly take that headed pass from believe Marco Milanese. Still at least a minute to go. San Gabo driving it forward, gets pushed, and earns the free kick. Mazzola beckoning for a ball. Appears we've been...
The referee has issued a caution.
A yellow card issued to Giovanni Willis. That's his fourth of the season, that is. I mean, at this point, do you have Jared Mazzola take this free kick?
Right, he's got a foot on him.
And that's exactly what they're going to do. Mazzola takes it. He's headed away. Devin Boyce can pick it up. Boyce serves it back in. Still scuffled about. Gavilanes over in the left channel. Couldn't get to Pilato, but it appears to have gone out for a corner kick, and it will be. A PNC Corners for Kids. Is there a late stunner here for the Triumph?
Mazzola's up.
Jared Mazzola at the top of the 18. Pilato drives it in. It's punched away by McCrane. And a whistle blows. I believe that's going to be a free kick in favor of the Owls. McCrane is down.
No, I think a goalie on goalie violence. Don't see that too often in soccer. Hockey you do, on the occasion.
Yeah.
Hailstorm have held on for a big 2-1 win over North Carolina. So that gets them back on track. So it might be the final score here, and it will.
The Owls are flying high. 6 straight wins ties a League One record. Dominic Casciato's side putting North Carolina FC and the rest of the league on notice. They knock out the Triumph, get their first win since the League One final in 2021, and also claim the series on the year. A goal from Joe Brito and Steven Dos Santos, the difference in this one. And now the Owls have the chance to do something no team has done a week and a half from now against North Carolina FC, as they claim all 3 points at Paladin Stadium. And with that, we're going to step aside briefly. When we come back, we'll wrap everything up, preview a little bit of what's coming up later tonight, and then we'll wish you all good night. We'll see you on the other side on ESPN+.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know, really wanna know.
You know, I'm just feeling a lot of pressure. There's big shoes to fill.
It's your time now, Tommy. I know you'll keep it special like your dad did.
If we can keep this business growing, I think that's the best way to honor him.
Well, I was there for him, and I'll be there for you.
About this new location?
He would have loved it, Tommy. Let's find a way.
Whenever the Greenville Tramps score not 1, but 2 goals during any home game, fans score big with 10% off on all fresh, scratch-made food at Habitat. Just grab a table, show your game day ticket while wearing your Triumph gear. Don't forget, you can always come cheer on the team while watching the away games during our watch parties. Habitat, proud sponsor of the Greenville Triumph.
A record tying 6th straight win for Dominic Casciato's side. 2-1 is the victory, a well-earned victory over the Greenville Triumph. And this one, winning the series, it's Mark Schoenster alongside me, Ross Davenport. Let's take a peek at the highlights from this one that found us to this point. It's the GSP Airport high-flying plays of the match. 31st minute, excellent exchange, and a tidy finish from Joseph Rito.
Yeah, good cutback, nice little 1-2 burrito. Just drifted towards the penalty spot. Greenville players gave him too much space, and that's a quality finish. Greenville had the moments in the first half, but couldn't find the back of the net.
Then we see what this chaotic sequence of events occurred, and Steven Dos Santos thrives in the heat of the moment. Contorts his body and sort of springs that ball into the back of the net.
Yeah, just first to pounce. That was the only shot on target for Omaha in that second half.
And then in the 91st minute, a glimmer of hope for the Greenville Triumph. Great long ball from Jamie Smith. Evan Lee brings it down, and he finds Jacob Labovitz. If there's any positive to glean from this game, maybe it's that Jacob Labovitz gets going from here on out.
Yeah, it made things interesting. It was not an easy finish for Jacob Labovitz. Made it look easy, but wasn't to be for Greenville as they lose this one 2-1. 18 shots, you could see there, 5 shots on target for each. But Greenville left to rue with those early chances missed.
Nearly identical in expected goals. Union Omaha with just a .01 advantage in that regard. But the fact of the matter is they put away the chances that they got, and they take advantage of all 3 points. Meanwhile, we do have another game tonight after the early slate of games finish. It's 2 teams currently sitting on losing streaks. The Fuego with a 3-game losing streak. Madison, a 2-game losing streak, find themselves slipping down the standings. Either one of these teams looking to snap it over in Fresno tonight. Recommend you check that one out once the other games conclude. This one has concluded, and we appreciate you tuning in and watching. For our entire broadcasting crew, Ross Davenport, I'm Mark Schoenster. Once again, we thank you for watching. We hope you have a fantastic night, and we'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.